Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Same Podcast here on the Monkey Caviar Podcast Network. I'm Tiny, your host. With me, as always, Adam Levy. Adam, how are you this evening?
I am doing great. How you doing?
I'm good. I got my volume on. I'm listening to myself, and it's just irritating because you could probably hear it.
A little bit.
Done. All right, well, taken care of. All right, good evening, folks. We're going to talk about the tunes tonight. It was a fun episode. There was a lot of actiony stuff. I liked it. And we got to open with our good friend Graham McTavish, the Saint of Killers. Finally, 4 episodes, and we finally get somebody besides the 3. Awesome! I was so happy to see him.
Yeah, it was nice to finally catch up with him and see what's, him rotting in his little cell like he has been for, since the end of last season. About time we get some.
Yeah, it's about time we get him back in action. I love that there are 9 circles of hell. I love that in the elevator. I thought that was very witty.
That was a nice little touch. I'll give you that. Yeah,
nice touch. I don't know that everybody got it, but I mean, I hope they did. But
yeah,
probably not. So when the doors open and he gets hit by this ball of fire, and he just kind of walks through it like, "Yep, this is some shit."
Yeah, he shrugged it off. The elevator man's like hiding behind the door.
So he walks through the Tenacious D Pick of Destiny set. Come on. It's exactly what it is.
Yeah, pretty much.
And he would have done it. Maybe Dave Grohl would have been a better devil. Like, if it was Dave Grohl, would you just pissed yourself? You'd be like,
no. That would have been awesome.
I would have bowed down to them. I would have been like, that's the way to do it. But they didn't do it that way. We did notice that the devil has a phone on his desk.
Yeah.
Looked mighty familiar to that phone.
I mentioned that last week, yeah. Although who he was on the phone with is very different than where we've seen the other phone. So that makes me wonder if all of these people are in contact with this.
Oh, well, who was he on the phone with?
He was on the phone with the Allfather.
Oh, I just watched the trailer for next week. Well, the Allfather.
Yeah.
Wow, that was incredible. Like, the first time I saw him, I was like, oh, holy crap, that's good.
Yeah, because he's talking to the phone, and he ends the phone. He's like, you're thrice blessed, Allfather, and hangs up the phone. Which is weird that the devil would be in contact with the Grail, considering that they're all about Jesus and preserving the bloodline. Being in bed with the devil doesn't seem to make any sense for that organization.
But this is not your ordinary devil. This is he's a little bit witty. He's a little bit funny. He's got a little sense of humor.
I want to redo my analysis of who I think the devil is. He's the Satan, and he's Bodhi from Point Break. He does have a little bit of that Patrick Swayze vibe to him.
It's like Hellboy and Patton Oswalt. I don't know. I don't know. It's crazy. He's ripped. He's got abs for days, and his assistant Sydney, the Angel of Death. Ooh, it's pretty hot.
Yeah, it wasn't just the flames in hell that were hot.
Oh man, I'm all about dying now.
Which makes me, I wonder if we're going to see a transformation in the Saint at some point in this season, like what we saw in the comic books.
He's going to like gain a soul.
Well, no. If remember in the comic books, the Saint of Killers was the Angel of Death. The Angel of Death had given up his job to give it to the Saint of Killers in order for him to go back and finish the job he needed to do. He would take the Angel of Death's place. So I'm wondering if we're going to see Sydney at some point give up her position to the Saint of Killers.
Since Sydney didn't speak, I don't think that Sydney is going to be a big part of this.
Probably not.
Yeah, I like the scene. I dig the floor.
Yeah,
the effects were nice. Just stringing him up and whipping him. Well,
yeah. I mean, I the reason. I mean, I get the reason he and here's another thing is and he brings this up. He's like, two angels walk into hell and take you out. How would that even be possible? How could angels just go down into hell unnoticed and take one of Satan's, prisoners and, get out of there without any kind of repercussion?
To be fair, it was Fior and DeBlanc. I mean, it was the two greatest angels in the history of angels.
I'm not denying that Fiore and DeBlanc were great, but the idea of just two angels strolling down into heaven unnoticed, walking right into where they needed to go. I mean, because they walked right into the cell block and took him out of his cell. You think somebody would have noticed? I mean, I'm sure the devil's got
maybe there's a "You Are Here" map like at the mall.
But I mean, I'm just saying that I figured somebody would have noticed two angels walking around hell.
Maybe not. Maybe they just, were like, all right, we got to go to the cell next to the J. Crew and find the scene. It's right next to the Bonbon place, so we'll stop and get a Cinnabon.
I mean, I liked that they kept certain aspects of the origin here. The him getting whipped, and at the end of the episode when you see him and like all the flesh been stripped off his back. I mean, I love the reason why in the comic books, because he got down there and he was so full of hate that he froze the fires of hell. So that Satan himself was so furious that he tried to just whoop the hatred out of him, and it didn't work. So, I mean, at least they're keeping some elements of the comic book intact for some of these characters. Changing some stuff around. I'm okay with the reason why Satan decided to punish him, because it made sense for the storyline. So I'm okay with that.
Today, I only want to see one person get whipped like that. Today, a traitor will go to hell, and he will get his whipping from Satan. And I hope they broadcast it.
Seriously.
I have never in my life thought I would ever see something like I saw today. And
I didn't see it, but I've heard enough about it that it's just
they broke in on my Regis and Kathy Lee today, and it just pissed me off because I knew what it was, and then I heard him, and man, all right, so
yeah.
I hope he ends up taking the punishment the Saint Killers had to endure.
There is a special place in hell for that guy.
I do not think he will do it without screaming.
No.
No.
He'll probably try to get out of it with bone spurs or something.
Yeah, well, that's not going to fly. Let's get back to the good things that happen. So Tulip is with Sabina Bowen, and this might be one of my favorite breakouts of the series so far. She's having a little shootout with her gunman. They lock the place down, and Tulip shoots the floor out Bugs Bunny style.
Yeah, I mean, this is something you only see like in like crazy, ridiculous action movies.
Oh my god, it was so good. I was like, I expected this to be directed by Sam Raimi. I was like, it was that kind of move.
Yeah,
Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, it's not something you'd expect to see in a show like Preacher. I'd expect to see it like it's like a Bruce Willis. It's like Fifth Element, where he shoots Ruby Rod out from under the balcony.
It is. It's straight up Robert Rodriguez. It could be in any Machete movie, and you would see something like that. It's just that fun.
Yeah, definitely.
At the same time, it works.
Yeah, I mean, the show itself is. It's thrown any practicality out the window. I mean, you've got vampires, you've got super strong hillbillies, you've got voodoo grandmothers. I mean, any kind of disbelief is just gone along the wayside. You just got to kind of put what you think is possible aside and just let the show roll, because they're going to pull stuff out that's going to be like, what the hell was that? And, just kind of got to roll with it.
And I can roll with it. I can roll with it to a point. TC lifting up the car. Ugh.
That was ridiculous.
That was ridiculous. I mean, that was a shark jump, and in a show where the ratings are very poor. Very poor.
I would have rather them done like the scene from The Good Old Boys where Jody like punches a bear in the face. That would have been more entertaining.
Super fun. We were wrong about next week's episode, though. It is not Louet Les Enfants du Sang. It is The Coffin.
Oh, that's right. The Coffin.
Yeah, so we know what that is, but we'll talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's get back to Back in the Day, which is one of my favorite title cards. Back in the day, Jesse was a young man with a top hat and a dream.
Yeah. And a penchant for quoting Gladiator.
He loved Gladiator. He loved him some Gladiator.
Yeah, he did.
He was Tyler Durden before Tyler Durden. Yeah, it's what did Fight Club come out before or after Gladiator?
I think it was after.
Probably before. I don't know.
Let me look this up. I'll look it up. You keep talking.
So I dig the theatricality of the Tombs, especially back in the day, because he's like in his young teens.
Okay, so town. Gladiator was 2000. Fight Club was 1999.
So they're ripping off everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Good to know. So yeah, he was Tyler Durden after Tyler Durden.
Yes.
So but yeah, so that's essentially what it is, Fight Club. And they say they can get their souls back by beating Jody, and Jody's still hanging around, so that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if they necessarily had to kill Jody or just best Jody, but knowing what we know of Jody, I don't think there is a man in Louisiana or wherever they're at that could probably beat Jody in a fair fight at that point in time.
You know who they need? You know who they need to beat Jody? They need this man right there. Ron
Swanson.
Yeah. Ron Swanson would come down and he would terrorize Jody. He would just make him a girl. Yeah,
he'd beat him with bacon and wood products.
I would love to see Nick Offerman show up in the Tombs as one of the guys on the conveyor belt.
I love me some Nick Offerman.
Oh, me too. He's great. I'm even going to watch this stupid show he's got with Amy Poehler.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Oh my God,
I'm just watch it for him.
Show.
I mean,
yeah, right.
Arts and Crafts with Ron Swanson and Amy Poehler.
So back in the day, apparently there was they had a what would you call it? A dry cleaner like chain of guys.
Yeah, this is a conveyor of lost souls waiting for their chance at redemption.
And a lot of deals being made. That's how that cupboard got filled up with napkins, I assume. And Jesse was the guy that went out and brought everybody in. He was like the salesman.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of saw that a couple weeks ago with the episode with the teacher. I mean, Jesse was the shill. He was the guy that would go out and recruit the marks and bring them in. They had no idea what kind of bargain they were in for. But Jesse was he was the fresh face, the smooth talking kid who could get these people in to see his grandma, and that kept business doing good for them.
Yeah, he kept the souls running in. Like I said, they had a conveyor belt, and I dig it as the conveyor belt goes by. The guys are like, "Pick me, please pick me, please pick me. I just want out of here. I just want off this conveyor belt." And then the teacher goes, pick me, and they're like, "Man, you just got here."
Yeah.
You haven't even done your time on the conveyor belt yet.
Yeah, you got another couple months on the conveyor belt before you even have a chance.
What do you think the average wait time was? I mean,
well, considering I think they were probably doing it every night, so it might have been, pretty quick, all things considered.
I'm trying to count them. And there's like 5, 6, 7, 8, the teacher 9. So there's like 9 guys on that conveyor belt.
Well, that we know of, because they kept stopping it.
Yeah, well, they stopped it. So yeah, they just pluck people off the line and make a fight. This alone is a great story. And I could do a full season on the Tombs. I have no problem with that. Redneck
soulless Fight Club.
And TC's minor hat kills me. He just
as much as they've tamed TC down for the show, I like TC in the show.
He's still great. The miner's hat and the overalls just slaying me when I'm watching it this morning.
Yeah. I mean, I don't love Jody as much. I don't like the way he is in the show as much. But TC is fun though.
Yeah, TC is fun. I don't particularly enjoy Jody as the character, but the guy that does Jody looks pretty damn close.
Well, he looks a little more doughy than Jody. Like Jody in the comic was like, he was built like a brick shit house. I mean, that guy was. You look at this guy, you wouldn't want to fuck with him.
All right, yeah, you're right.
But, like Jody in the show, doughy, like you look at him, and you think, okay, maybe on a good day I could probably take this guy. Because he doesn't look mean and strong, but we know that he is. What?
Maybe back in the day when I was like in my 20s, but I'm no fighter.
I mean, like Jody, like for me, like Jody should be like a scary looking motherfucker. I mean, this guy just kind of looks like an average, guy you'd find in the South somewhere. I mean, there's nothing really frightening about him.
Now you're disparaging the entire South.
Not at all, because there's nothing wrong with the way the guy looks, but he doesn't look scary like I would expect him to.
So you're saying they should have gone the wrestler route and just got somebody that was totally yoked and huge?
Maybe.
Yeah, all right. I get that. I liked that the tomb scene morphed into the current day with the fight between Cassidy and the school teacher, which I thought, was not going to be quite the fight it was. But the school teacher looked to be putting a good whipping on him. Ooh, excuse me. A good whipping on him.
Yeah, I mean, Cassidy took a couple cuts from the hedge trimmer.
Hedge trimmer. I thought it was a chainsaw last week. It definitely a hedge trimmer.
Yeah.
I don't find a hedge trimmer as intimidating as a chainsaw.
No, not at all. I mean, you've got to like really hit somebody with it to do some damage.
Yeah, you got to hit right.
Yeah.
Can you explain all these shots from the furnace or the whatever? There's a grate on the floor, and they shed a lot of shots through it, but it doesn't have anything to do with anything.
I think they're just trying to be arty.
Yeah. Arty, all right. He bashes the guy's head in with a hammer. It's a pretty good shot.
Yeah.
I think the guy's dead. If he's not, he is later.
Yeah. If not dead, he's not long for this world.
And then Jesse goes about cutting up Cassidy. Now, when I'm watching this, the first run through, I was a little shocked.
Because like Jesse comes up and just like kicks Cassidy in the face and like telling Jody like, give this guy some blood. He can fight. He can fight every night. We can make all kinds of money off this guy. And then as soon as Jody leaves, Jesse starts to hack him up.
I like that TC busted with what kind of blood? Gator blood, pig blood, squirrel blood. Like he's got a stock.
He's got it all.
And he just racks them off. Gator blood, pork blood, squirrel blood.
Yeah, I can see TC with a cabinet of just like mason jars full of like different animal blood.
It helps to consummate.
Yeah. Probably got some possum blood in there somewhere.
When Jesse's kicking him and Jody and TC are in the room, I'm okay with it because I think he's just messing around.
Yeah,
they leave and he starts hacking him up with the machete, and I was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of comes out of nowhere because we don't really know. I mean, we're not quite sure what's going on because last episode you've got Jesse trying to get Cassidy to leave for his own good, and Cassidy's not listening. Cassidy, he decides instead of them stringing up Cassidy waiting for the sun to rise to take him to the tombs, which is something he didn't want to do. He did not want to reopen the tombs. He told Grandma he didn't want to do that, but he decided he'd do that for Cassidy. So you realize, okay, he's trying to keep Cassidy alive in some respect, and then to turn around and just hack him up. It's like, wait a minute, what's going on? Did he decide to like stop trying to save him and just, end it quickly for him, or what's going on here? There was no kind of context for that.
There wasn't, and I was shocked, and I was sitting here appalled, and it changed scenes, and I was like, no, don't do that. But and I hate when the show does that when you really wanted to continue on one storyline.
Of course, but they gotta draw out the tension.
Yeah, it's gonna cut somewhere else, and they're just like, not yet. fuck, he lost.
Yeah.
So, but it does. It cuts away, and we go to Tulip, and Tulip is having a hard time finding Angelville. Is what it boils down to. I love the use of the suspended traffic signal that they keep coming back to time after time with her in the car. She's just lost, and on the way she gets to hear the story of a young Jesse and his love affair with the fine Sabina.
Well, and yeah, we kind of got a little bit of that, or at least got mention of it before when Jesse was talking to TC and asked him what he was going to do for the weekend. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to go see Gladiator again." And TC's like, "You better not let your grandma, find out who you're hanging out with, because she wouldn't do well down here in the tombs.
She will not be entertained."
Yeah.
No, but
I mean, we didn't know who it could have been. He could have been going back to see Tulip for all we know. It could have been anybody. There's at that the way that scene was put together and worded, we had absolutely no idea who it was. Jesse, this young woman that Jesse was courting at the time.
Right, and we don't know. I didn't even know. It may not even be true in the comics that Jesse and Tulip knew each other as kids.
No, he didn't meet her until he was about 18.
Yeah, so that he knows her from Texas didn't mesh.
No. Yeah, in the show, they grew up together. They were childhood friends. They went to school together. They've known each other most of their lives.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, at least they knew each other through elementary school. We don't know how long Jesse's been in Angelville, at this point, because he spent some time in Anvil as a boy until, and I'm wondering if we're going to see the part where Jody and TC go to Anvil, kill his father, and take him back, because that's something they showed a couple times in the first season and never really expanded upon. Now that we've got these characters, I'm wondering if we're going to see, and maybe next week with the coffin, because Jesse's going to have some time to think, we might see some more of this stuff.
Yeah, I would think that would be the perfect time for the show to show us who kills Jesse's dad.
Yeah,
we know who it is, but
yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think, and the coffin is a punishment thing that it's going to be. Like I said, they can do a lot with the episode because it's a lot of Jesse time alone. And,
yeah.
But before we get to that, we're talking about this Sabina Boyd thing. I dig that he just hangs out with her and they're telling the story about getting in a fight and the guy screwed off his leg and all this, and then the girl kicks her brother out. Was like, all right, he's gonna get lucky, so you leave. Yeah,
we're gonna fool around, so you get the hell out of here. Go drum up some business for us.
Now, I grew up. I was a child once. I was in my teens. This never happened. Not one.
No, I wasn't that lucky as a teenager.
Not one time.
No.
Good on him. And he kind of goes to save her. By he doesn't want her to get hurt by Jody and TC and Grandmama especially.
Yeah.
So when she starts talking about his grandma, he kind of gets him thinking about the tombs and about her being on the conveyor belt, maybe, and that would be good and fun. But girls don't do very well down there, I'm sure.
Oh, probably not. No,
probably not. I dug it the whole time that the dead grandma's in the background, just chilling in a chair. Creepy as fuck. No.
But see, so we realized that even at a young age, Jesse had a kind of fucked up way of trying to save people. He figured it'd be easier to hurt them. And I get that. Sometimes, you see that in other stories and stuff where the easiest way to save somebody is to hurt them and get them away from you. And that's pretty much what he was doing here. But I mean, we've been seeing some of that with Cassidy too, where he's trying to save Cassidy, but he's going about it in a pretty fucked up way.
We call this the White Fang.
The White Fang?
Yeah, it's from the show The New Girl, and at one point, one of the characters wants to break up with his girlfriend, and he's like, "Go on, get out of here, get." Okay. And she goes, "Are you white fanging me right now?" And he goes, "Yeah, maybe. Why?" Just because you've always like put on your blog that you were gonna white fang someone. It's me. So he's kind of doing the white fang, but he does it with he just hurts a little more when he does it.
Yeah, he ended up calling her trash.
Well, not trash, because that would be an.
Well, no, he said that to her brother. That calling a boy
trash.
trash would be an insult to trash. Yeah.
Yeah, but he did say he couldn't be around boy trash, and that teenage girl don't need to hear that. That's not nice.
No.
I mean, it didn't quite explain.
It didn't quite explain the level of hatred she had for Jesse. I mean, I can understand being pissed off at him, but the way she's talking to Tulip, like, she hates Jesse. And just doing that didn't seem to be enough for her to have that level of hatred towards him.
The worst person she ever loved. Come on. Yeah. She was in love with him.
I get that. I totally get that. And, breaking somebody's heart, that sucks. But I don't know if, and, maybe someday he would have had the chance to say, hey, look, I was trying to save you. Whether he ever get the chance to do that or not, we'll never know. I mean, we might see that later down the line.
I'm just saying that sometimes, and I'm not trying to be making a generalization here, but I'm saying sometimes when you break a woman's heart, that woman can, I don't know, wreck your career if you're Chris Hardwick, or post pictures on the internet if you're Shady McCoy, or anything that anybody has.
Shady
McCoy?
Football
thing.
Okay.
His ex-girlfriend posted pictures. She got home invaded and beat the hell out of her, and put on Instagram that it was Shady's fault, when what she meant was, I think Shady set me up for this because he was in Miami. It's just
okay. This is recent, right?
Yeah, very.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, sometimes there are the vindictive, mean-spirited women in the world, and if you break their heart, they will, burn all of your shit.
No, I get that, but I mean, like, this is 20 years later, and she still has like this like burning hatred for him. You figured like a heartbreak, as a teenager, yeah, it's gonna suck pretty bad, but 20 years later, you're not gonna harbor that same deep level of hatred for somebody. I mean, and we find out later on in the episode that there is more that adds to why she hates Jesse the way she does. Because, like I said, the breakup doesn't seem enough for her to harbor that kind of a grudge against Jesse Custer or Jesse Langell.
He's Custer. Fuck the Langell thing.
I so hate that. I hate that so badly that he's going on like Jesse Langell. No, where he's Jesse fucking Custer.
Right. It's your father's name, sir. Jesse and Jody go to kegs, just kegs, no bottles, no cans, just
kegs. You sure they sell kegs here?
You sure they sell kegs? And conveniently right across the street is a frozen yogurt / mailbox place.
Yeah. Talk about some of the weirdest like combinations of like some of the places I used to see like bottled water places with pager shops. It's like pick up a sparkless bottle of water and a new pager while you're there.
Gas station with a Taco Bell. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, you got me. Frozen yogurt in a mailbox shop? Fuck you. You're just making stuff up to suit your story. There's no store like this exists anywhere in the planet.
Yeah. One of these places are going to open up now just because of the show.
It should. If I had to mail a package, I'd want to get a frozen yogurt afterwards.
Yeah, think of how much money the post office should do this, man. Think of how much money the post office could make if they started selling Froyo. I mean, the post office they're always in danger. They're always losing money. If they open up Froyo in their post offices, maybe they'd start getting some money back.
I have to make copies every other week for trivia, and I got to go to FedEx Kinko's to do that. And while I'm standing there waiting for the machine, I would love a Froyo.
It'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
I think it's a great idea. They're missing out.
I mean, SpaceX has a Froyo shop in their warehouse. I mean, in their facility.
I think for a small Louisiana town, kegs only might be a little too on the spot, but maybe they just do a lot of keg business.
Maybe. I mean, what else are you gonna do down in the swamps? You drink beer and wrestle gators,
eat Froyo,
and mail shit.
That just killed me. The kegs on.
Yeah.
All right, I get it. It's horrible. So he goes into the combination frozen yogurt / FedEx Kinkos, and he says he's got to mail a package, and the kid's like rattling off all the shit you can't eat. No guns, no moist, no liquids.
No liquids.
And Jesse gets their whole thing. He's like, well, no guns. Everything else, well, yeah, kind of. And then we see what has happened with Cassidy is getting boxed up and shipped went to New Orleans peanut style.
Yeah.
I dig the bloody stump coming out of the peanuts, like you forgot my arm.
Yeah. He's like, you forgot my other hand. And he's like, I need the hand.
So here it was again a fun scene, but there's a guy working in that store. I mean, Cassidy's yelling at him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the guy wasn't really paying attention to Jesse when he first walked in. He was watching something on his phone or doing something. So Jesse and Cassidy talking in the back of the shop probably wouldn't have registered to him. But
okay. Again, this is not the biggest leap the show has taken.
No, not at all.
If I can stretch my imagination for the devil, I can certainly stretch my imagination that this counter help is totally inadequate. So that's fine.
Yeah.
I love this scene they shot with his head just sticking out of the peanuts, though. Yeah. I think it's hysterical.
And I'm curious how much this package would have cost to ship, because you figured Cassie's got to weigh probably 150, 170 pounds.
I would say 180, probably. Yeah, he's a tall fella.
Yeah, I mean, it's not cheap to ship that. Yeah, it's not cheap to ship.
Yeah, not cheap.
You can't ship at book rate.
I don't know. And how do you pay for it? The guy didn't come weigh it, nothing. And
I don't know.
Again, these are not the problem. It's Mystery Science Theater. If these are your problems with the show, you might be thinking too much.
Yeah. You can gloss over these kinds of details. I mean, we don't need to see what the weight of the package is and how much Jesse had to pay to ship Cassidy to New Orleans.
This is not Game of Thrones. We don't need those kind of tidbit information. We'll make them up. He weighed 179 pounds and it cost $398 to ship.
There you go.
I
wonder if they take souls. I wonder if they take souls, yeah.
As the FedEx Kinkos guy, next time I'm there, how much would it cost to mail a body? just to see his reaction, mostly.
Yeah, that alone would be worth it right there.
Like, you used to be able to ask Surrey where the best place was to bury a body.
Yeah.
And now it's like, can't give out that information.
Aw.
Yeah, it's so stupid. America, look what you've become.
Seriously.
Whining,
get your shit together, America.
The 70s were better. So we get to hear the second part of the Boyd girl story, and that's that her brother was killed by young top hat wearing Jesse Custer
in the tombs. Yeah, he went down to the tombs to confront Jesse, and
depending on which version of the story you hear, the first version you hear is that Jesse just pretty much straight up killed him.
Well, he attacked Jesse first, and then Jesse, got the better of him and, choked him out.
That's
and then gets up and pulls his whole, "Are you not entertained?" And carries on like nothing happened.
You think once he could go, "Shh, we don't talk about the tombs."
Yeah. First rule of the tombs is you don't talk about the tombs.
Should have got up and threw soap on him. Maybe that should have been a weapon.
TC in the back making their own soap.
It should have been a weapon as a soap and a sock. If you're gonna do a shout out, do it right.
Yeah.
So yeah, the guy attacks Jesse from behind. They scramble on the floor. Jesse chokes him out. He dies. All right, and so the Boyd girls blame Jesse for 20 years for killing her brother. All right, that's legit.
Yeah, and that explains the 20 years of hatred.
Sure, I'm all cool with that. So, and Tulip don't buy the story. She doesn't think it sounds like Jesse, even though it was just young Jesse. She doesn't think that he would just, when a guy's yelling, "Stop, stop, please stop," just chokes him out until he dies. Turns out Jesse was the one yelling, "Please stop, stop, stop!" And
look, if you listen to his story, yeah.
If you listen to the Jesse side of the story, which I choose to believe is the correct story, because Garth Ennis has no reason to lie to me. So,
well, and the other thing is how would she have known that that's what happened if she wasn't even there? You know, who told her the details when the only person that she knew was there is dead?
Right. Well, I mean, there's a lot of different people in that room, so the story was going to get out, and I'm sure different versions got out because it's it's the world.
Yeah, it's a game of telephone.
We could all watch the exact same thing happen, and then it go tell the story and come back, and it's 10 different things.
Yeah.
So, and that's just life. That's how.
Oh, of course.
It's why shows like Big Brother work. Miscommunication is beautiful.
Yeah.
So we go back to the yogurt mail shop, and our clueless counter boy gets some blood on his bright white kicks, and now he's invested in what's going on in the store
because he said no liquid in the package. Damn it!
Yeah, so that's his big takeaway, right? There's blood trail from the box that's oddly going the wrong direction, and everything in this episode is such a mess. But yeah, so he, again, we get another piece of it's throwaway comedy, that bit.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, no liquids. Come on. It's
yeah. I mean, that was but
show.
the thing that stood out for me in that scene was how the hell did Cassidy stitch himself together that quickly from one little bag of blood?
Right. Well, again, we're suspending belief on a lot of things.
Yeah.
So we go back to the arena of the tombs, and they found Cassidy's hand and no Cassidy. So Jesse's going to go out and tell everybody what's up. And
so we there's one other little bit of comedy in the Jesse Cassidy scene in the shop where Jesse's like, this is the only way I could figure out to get you out. He's like, dude, there's dozens of other ways you could got me out. Skin suit. He's a skin suit works all the time.
Right, he brings up the skin suit. You're right. We did gloss over that.
I forgot about the skin suit.
Comes back, yeah, right. So in the tombs, Jesse goes through this whole 3 rules. There's 3 rules of Fight Club.
Well, there's the 3 things he needs to tell them. The three pieces of information he needs to share with them. Yes.
1, if you got a blue Honda, for some reason you have an alarm on it and it is going on.
Yeah.
and you see one guy dip out the back.
Yeah.
And I dig that they bring the guy that dipped out the back into it at the end. It's very clever.
Yeah, that was a nice little callback. Yeah.
That joke I liked.
Yes.
So he says, number 2, God's gone. God left heaven. This is a test. I don't know what kind of test, but it's a test, and we all gotta pass fail. Right?
Yeah.
Pretty much what it boils down to. And rule number 3, or third thing he's got to tell him is tombs are closed, go home. Fight's over, no fight. This doesn't go over well with anybody.
No, because they're all, they all have a thirst for blood. They were there, an hour or so ago watching a vampire fight a school teacher with a hedge trimmer, and they wanted more.
For the main event. They're looking for the main event, Vampire versus Jody.
Exactly.
And who doesn't want that? We all want it. I want it.
Yeah.
I love that they also write the matchup on the wall in chalk.
Yeah.
I think it's where they keep track of the bets. Which is very
probably,
nice.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
I think there's tally marks underneath is what it looked like. If you were in a Fight Club situation like this, you're in, let's say we're at Atomic Steve's and we're out by the jacuzzi and he's got a little Fight Club brewing. And somebody tells you that God has left heaven and blah, blah, blah. Do you buy it? Or are you just like, just get on with the fights, man?
I'd probably just get on with the fights, man.
Just get on with it. Why are you hassling me?
Yeah. I mean, you figure at this point, this group, this bloodthirsty group of hillbillies watching 2 people beat the living shit out of each other, probably not the big church-going crowd.
No,
maybe.
Probably not wasting their Sunday mornings.
No. Not when there's football and NASCAR.
So he tells them all to get out. He starts walking away, And then you hear Danny Boy, a little Danny Boy come from the stairway. I love it. And then you see the bloody shoes. And as soon as I saw the shoes, I was like, Arya Stark is the last woman standing. So I hope Maisie Williams didn't spoil Game of Thrones. But if she did, that was a great way to do it.
I didn't see that.
She posted on Instagram a picture of her bloody tennis shoes with the hashtag last woman standing.
Nice.
Yeah. So, I mean, if Arya lives, Arya lives. I'm cool with that. Somebody's got to.
Seriously.
So Cassidy comes in and Jesse gives Jody the wait, I'll take care of this. Which is not how this fight's supposed to go down. No. So Jesse again steps in trying to protect Cassidy. Or so it appears.
Yeah. And here's another thing from Cassidy that they kind of left out for the show is, as a vampire, Cassidy is super strong, but we have never seen any sign of that whatsoever. I mean, the way it looks in the show is Jody's stronger than Cassidy.
Right. We have the thing where in the comic there's a scene where Cassidy vampire punches Jesse and Jesse catches it with his hand like in an act of defiance. And it's a great moment that he stops it. But then as he's walking away, he's like, that just broke every bone in my hand.
Yeah. Yeah, so. Exactly. I mean, yeah, you've seen him like in some fights, like he just punched guys like they'd fly across the room. And in this fight with Jesse and Cassidy, Jesse punched Cassidy like that and sent him flying across the room. I'm like, how the fuck did that happen?
He hit him with a baseball bat. And
still,
I'm not saying he's going to hit a line drive double with a vampire. But again, we're suspending our belief on a lot of things. So
I mean, Cassie pinataed across the room, man.
He did. It's unfortunate. What'd you think of God doing a zoom by on Tulip at the light? He just does a ride by, gives her the peace sign, and he motors on.
Yeah, I mean, they keep finding ways to insert God into the storyline.
I love the dog God.
Harley riding dog God.
Awesome. So I do like that Cassidy added the machete hand.
Oh, it wasn't
growing back together.
It wasn't the machete. It was the it was the cutting thing from the cutter. Yeah.
From the pro-yo.
Because he didn't have his hand. Jesse kept the hand for the tomb, so he needed something.
Right. So he like puts it in his stub, tapes it up, and starts swinging. It's a great weapon.
That was a nice little touch.
Weapon. It's a very Walking Dead kind of weapon. Hey, Tulip arrives in Angelville to find the guy who's turning off his car alarm. Or the best joke. That one I really like. And then Tulip just kind of forgets about her guest.
Well, she did put her in the trunk.
Yeah, for a while, she just kind of forgets.
Well, to be fair, when she got down there in time to see Jesse just whooping the shit out of Cassidy.
Yeah. Well, I just watched him hit him with the bat. All right, so here he is. He hits him with the bat. He's got the broken handle in his hand, and I'm thinking, oh my God, they could do it right here. You just pop it through his heart, and that's a wooden stake through a vampire. That's death, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh my God, they can't do this. They can't possibly get rid of it. But they brought a lot of people back from the dead, so might as well.
Well, the other thing too is in the comic book, I think Cassidy talks about the fact that sunlight is really the only way to kill him because, clearly chopping his head off doesn't work. I think in the comic books he talked about getting a stake through the heart. It says it hurts like hell, but it's not fatal. He loves garlic. There's no problem going into churches. Holy water is nothing. Sunlight is really the only true way to kill a vampire. So Jesse like shoving that baseball bat through his chest. I was pretty sure it wasn't going to kill him.
I was pretty sure he was, because based on where the shot was. I was like, he hit him in a lung, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But they never really went over the rules of Cassidy's vampirism.
That's the thing. Like every vampire story has kind of their own set of rules. You've got Blade and the Daywalkers. You've got shiny, sparkly vampires in Twilight. You know,
you got Nosferatu, all that. So
yeah,
but if you're going to do vampires, you have to establish what the rules are.
yeah.
But they never did that with Cassidy. So,
Well, I mean, the only rule they ever established is sunlight, because we've seen him burn up in sunlight. That's the only rule we've ever been that's been established.
well, we've seen the things that aren't. Like, obviously, decapitation doesn't work because he's been ahead in the box.
Yeah,
so it's going to take an awful lot to put him down, is what we're getting at.
yeah.
But he does escape using the skin suit.
Yep.
The beautiful the skin suit is super creepy, and it was a horrible cut, but it was a horrible edit. It really was.
Yeah.
From him ripping the mask up. Oh, it's bad. I just watched it again. I was like, oh, the third time I've seen it, it's still bad. It's a horrible cut. And so him and Tulip drive off, and Tulip takes him to the bus to New Orleans. He's got his love potion in his lap. He's ready to spritz her with it, and he opts out.
Yeah. I mean,
I found it kind of interesting on his part that he would go through all that, because he had to make a deal with Grandma to get that.
Yeah. And we don't know what kind of deal he made with Grandma, you know. And I think it kind of speaks to Cassidy's character that he didn't do it. I mean, especially after she tells him that she doesn't love him. Like, he's like, I love you. And she's like, I don't love you. You know, that'd have been the perfect time to hit her with the love potion and be like, well, you love me now, apparently. And just keep on driving until they couldn't drive anymore. But you know,
I now have a better use for it.
Oh,
I mean, you can go to New Orleans and you can spritz a few hookers, and that's going to help you have a great time. but
then you're stuck with those hookers. They're not going to want to leave because they're going to be in love with you.
That's right. And nobody wants a clinging hooker. That is the last thing you want, is a clinging hooker. So when he gets on the bus, we see the bus has a special guest riding a few rows back. Our own Featherstone reappears, and if Cassidy spritzes Featherstone with the love potion, and Featherstone is in love with Cassidy, that opens us up for all kinds of fun.
That would actually be hilarious.
It's great, right? It's a perfect plot. Yeah, it's a perfect storyline. So funny. You could have so much fun with that.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that's where it's going. I'm saying it could.
That would be entertaining. I would enjoy that if they did it right.
Just ship that. All right. Yeah. I got one. I'm on the board.
Ding.
It's a really long scene. I'm still watching it. They're still sitting in the car. He hasn't even gotten on the bus yet. It's just a lot of two heads.
Pretty much, yeah.
So while we're doing
at this point, Madame Boyd is still in the trunk of the car too.
Oh yeah, she's still chilling back there.
Yeah,
she right around town. Yeah. So Cassidy's going back to New Orleans, but I don't think he's going to make it there, and because we saw the preview for next week, which I just watched, and he gets captured by the Grail apparently.
I like the little preview, like the dating scene, like he's on some dating app looking for vampires or something.
Yeah, he's on a little date. He's on a I don't know what that's about. I guess they're giving him a little vampire girlfriend.
Well, I'm guessing that might be the lead into Les Enfants.
All right, yeah, that's probably it. We got to get there somehow. So,
yeah.
Well, all right. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, they're so great.
Well, I mean,
explain what Les Enfants is. Just a little bit.
In the comic book, Cassidy had been in New Orleans before, and he met another vampire, the first vampire he'd ever met since he'd become a vampire. And you know, he goes and meets up with this guy, and this guy takes him to this underground, you know, meet up with these kids, these 20-something kids called Les Enfants du Sang, who just worship the vampire. They worship Icarius, the vampire. And they want him to make them all vampires. And he's just kind of taking the piss out of these kids, just like, oh, I like the attention they give me, blah, blah, blah. And Cassidy comes in and just like sets them straight. It's like, like smacks them around, just like treats them like shit, thinking that these wanky little goth kids, just,
like, yeah. They're like little fang bangers that just want to be around the vampires and hang out, but they all want to be vampires, But the vampires aren't going to make them vampires because they want to be vampires.
Yeah.
That's just not how shit works.
But then in the comic books later on, Jesse, Cassidy, and Tulip find their way back into New Orleans, and they run into older versions of these kids who were not happy with what Cassidy did the last time he was in town. So it definitely added an interesting element to the storyline from when they were there. So I don't think it's going to be that, we're going to get that kind of storyline, because as far as we know, Cassidy hasn't been in New Orleans before. He hasn't interacted with any of these people before. I think Listen Fonz is what?
Dennis was there.
True, but just because Dennis was there, I mean, maybe he'd been there before to see his son, but from what it sounded like, they didn't really have a good relationship. So who knows how much time he spent there, or how long Dennis had even been in New Orleans.
I agree with you, but based on the way the TV show is going, at least they have a reason to say he'd been there before. Because
true.
So they can use that.
Yeah, I have a feeling that this group is going to be. He's gonna meet them for the first time when that episode rolls around. That they're gonna be like some like Fang worshippers, and it's gonna be they're gonna be like a bunch of waterheads.
The girl's the perfect way to bring him into it. So that's gonna explain that. Okay, that makes sense.
And if they're gonna have to keep him away from Angelville for the rest of the season until Jesse leaves, you got to have something for him to do, because he doesn't have a son there anymore. So you've got to have some reason to keep him there.
And we don't know how long he's going to be on his own accord, because at one point in the trailer, you see that he's with Harris Star. So
yeah,
his time in New Orleans could be very short, just a Tinder date that opens the door to a couple episodes from now. All right, we'll get there. So Tulip goes back to Jesse, and he tells her his side of the story about the Boyd boy, and how Jesse was screaming for his life, and just out of sure self-preservation killed him on accident.
Yeah.
And then Jody raises his hand and yells, "Are you not entertained?" So either way, there's a lot of gladiator in this episode.
Yes.
So you choose which story you want to believe. I kind of go with Jesse's recount of the tale, because he's Jesse.
Well, yeah. Well, that, and you look back at the first season, like the whole thing with the robbery, where Jesse, I don't think Jesse is the kind of guy that wants to kill people. I mean, that whole thing with the bank robbery where the one guy killed somebody, like the way he reacted to that, like, if he was a killer, he wouldn't have given a shit. He'd just, run off and, left that. But the way he reacted to that scene, to that guard being shot, I don't remember if it was him shot or the guy that Tulip was hunting down.
Carlos.
Carlos. I don't remember who shot him, but Jesse's reaction to that whole scene, to that event, kind of makes me think that he's not the kind of guy that is inclined to kill somebody or to be just blasé about somebody being killed.
I think in the comic book they did a much better job of setting Jesse up as someone that doesn't really like to kill. Like, killing's not his thing. He'll kill out of vengeance, and he'll kill if he has to.
He'll kill to protect his own.
But he doesn't randomly, indiscriminately just kill people. That's
like I said, in the comic book, Jesse is the quintessential American cowboy. They're not killers. They fight to protect their own. They fight to protect the other people. They're good guys at heart. And since the show's not going that route with the character, they kind of have to give him some redeeming qualities. They have to do something.
I think there's enough of a Western vibe to it that you can still say, he's a preacher, he's a man of God, he's a man of honor, and sometimes a man of honor has to do things that aren't honorable, but in the end, standing up for what you really believe in, then you're doing the right thing.
There are definitely signs of Jesse's honor that have shown through certain scenes in the show. And there are times where you don't quite get that from him. Yeah, he's not that way 100% of the time.
He's a very flawed character, and
very flawed. And everybody in the show is flawed, and that's fine. Some of the I think flaws are what makes a character even better, because we can relate to people having flaws because we have flaws. People we know have flaws, so it makes these characters more relatable if they remind us of ourselves. But you can't have it'd be kind of hard to have your main character be just an asshole, you know. It doesn't quite work as well. You've got to have some redeeming aspects of him, and Jesse's honor definitely is one of those redeeming aspects. The fact that he is actively trying to help his friends get out of a shitty situation, you know, even with young little Boyd, you know, Sabine or whatever her name was, you know, trying to protect her from his family, knowing what they would do to her if they ever found out. I mean, we've seen that Jesse has, like, from a young age, Jesse has had the sense of honor, the sense of protection. But yeah, he does a lot of fucked up things along the way.
Yeah, he doesn't necessarily go about them in the nicest possible way, but what he's doing in the grand scheme of things for his own better good, or the better good of others. And it's kind of tricky, but he's trying to be a good guy is what he's doing. And and then that's what he kind of gets across to Tulip. Tulip goes out and lets Sabina out of the trunk, and they have a little powwow about breaking the spell. And she says, you know, they break the spell, you got to kill Grandma. And she's like, oh, I don't want to do that because something bad will happen to Jesse. She's like, no, it won't. I don't trust that shit.
Yeah. No, I don't think killing Grandma will do something bad to Jesse. I think it'll do something bad to Tulip.
Possibly. And she wants that crown, the Boyd woman. She wants to be the go-to spiritual person in the area.
Well, and as of now, she kind of is, you know, with Jesse having left Angelville's business dropped to almost nothing, it seemed. You know, Madam Boyd is the go-to place. Like, even when Jesse was at that Huffers Anonymous meeting, trying to, like, talk that guy into this, he's like, oh no, she's like, I'd go to Madam Boyd. Everyone knows that. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, right. I don't think she's hurting for business. I think maybe because of Jesse. I mean, there's probably also, I mean, Grandma may have had some dealings with Sabine's grandma too. I mean, there might be, like, generations of bad blood going back between these two families.
I'm sure it's Hatfields and McCoys.
Yeah,
but I need it more explained to me than why she wants the grandma dead. I don't have enough reason for that.
There's much more history than we know.
Right, Jesse, I got the reason for. Grandma, I don't. So maybe Grandma's story is coming before the end of this. We'll get to it.
Yeah, I can see like a little backstory on Grandma.
Sure. But to end the episode, we go right back to hell, and the Santa Killer gets done taking his whipping, and the devil's like, okay, so that's over with. That was dirty business. I'm sorry we had to do it, but let's get down to what's really going on. You escaped hell, and that's why you got punished. Well, I got 2 more escapees that need to be brought back here. And
he asked him what it was he wanted, and he brings up the preacher. Yeah. And he's like, okay. He's like, I've got a couple other people that have found their way out of hell. I need you to bring them back for me.
Gonzo, look at this guy as a self-starter. Cindy, you should be more like this guy. So he gives him the folder, and he says, 2 people. So I'm watching this with the girlfriend, and she's like, oh. And I'm like, you don't know who he's going after? She's like, no. And I'm like, yeah, this is a badly paced story. She should know, like I did, that it's obviously Eugene and his good buddy Hitler.
Adolf Hitler, yeah. And the thing that I don't understand, though, is the fact that Eugene shouldn't have been in hell. Technically Eugene is still alive. He was a living soul in hell, or no, he was a living person in hell when he shouldn't have been there. So I mean, I'm not quite sure why the devil is so hard on forgetting him, has such a hard on forgetting him back, because he shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Because he escaped. he didn't get let out. He escaped, and to escape means that anybody can escape, and that's not the way the devil works.
Yeah,
I get that.
I mean, I totally get wanting Hitler back. That makes perfect sense.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. So part of the so he's agreed. So the Saint's going off to kill them, and that's
the Saint asked him about his guns, and he's like, "Oh no," he's like, "You don't need your guns for this one." He's like, "I want these people brought back alive." He's like, "You bring them back." He's like, "We'll give you your guns back, and you can go kill all the preachers you want."
Kill all the preachers you want. Yeah, that was good.
And the other thing is too, is like Satan talks about having big plans and talks about expansion. I'm curious what plans Satan has. Where is he expanding to? I mean, is he looking like a 10th level, a 12th level of hell? You know, is he looking at taking over heaven?
Garden Grove,
Fontana, anywhere in the IE, I guess. Really.
See, I grew up out there, and I know what you're talking about, but that is everything around me now. Like Riverside would be a fucking upgrade.
Jesus Christ.
At least it's full of mostly liberals. So next week we get the Allfather.
Well, I don't know if we're gonna see the Allfather next week, but
have you not seen the extended scene?
Oh no, I haven't.
I have seen the Allfather.
Oh, so we're gonna see him next week. Okay.
Oh, we are super gonna see him, and it is awesome. It is awesome.
Okay.
The scene I've in is him and Hair Star having like an iPod or an iPad conversation on their tablets.
All right.
He says, Allfather, it looks like your latest stomach staple took. Is holding, he says. And the Allfather goes, it's not.
Yeah, the Allfather was a maybe about 5 people. I mean,
Allfather, big dude.
He was very girthy.
He's a girthy man.
He reminds me of that scene from Monty Python. And now was it Life of Brian?
Yeah, get me a bucket.
Would you care for a mint? It's way for a theme.
Don't want to be take me a bucket. Yeah, so that you obviously watched a different preview than I did.
Well, I watched the one that was on at the end of the episode.
Oh, see, I don't get those on my Fire Stick.
Oh, okay.
So I went to the website, the AMC site, and it's got a sneak peek, and it's
okay.
Then you don't know about Humperdew either.
Oh, we get more Humperdew.
So the scene starts with Humperdew and Hair Star standing with what looks like to be the Queen.
Oh, jeez.
he's like, all right, Hump. He's like, all right, give us a greeting. And Humperdew like tries to greet her, and he's like, good, that's good. Now do the kiss. And he's got to kiss the Queen's hand, and he starts just like going down on her ring. Then you hear Hoover yell, all right, cut, actors, back to places. We'll go through it again.
Jeez.
Obviously trying to work on Humperdew as a last resort.
Jeez.
So yeah, we get the Allfather and Humperdew next week. So
good times. So
next Monday should be a fun show. There'll be a lot to talk about. We're running a little bit long tonight, but there was a lot to talk about.
Yeah, it happens.
That was a fun one.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Until then, love many, trust few, and do harm to no one. Bye.